Hi everybody, welcome back to Teensy Vintage. This is Teresa. Today we are working in my little junk journal again. We're going to use a brand new stencil that I got myself for my birthday. It's a Hero Arts stamp, not a stencil, sorry. And I am going to stamp 2 impressions onto some of this blank Holtz paper. And at first I try it with these little magnets, and frankly, it doesn't work. That's all right. You will see me go to plan B here. Yeah, the magnets just get in the way, and I don't get a very good impression. And then, of course, the stupid magnets get stuck together, and mayhem. Anyway, a little piece of washi tape seems to work until I go to remove the washi tape, and the paper is so delicate it comes off. So since I couldn't find my very low tack tape, I just used the other side of the washi tape and just deal with the fact that I will have 2 slightly torn bottoms. It happens. There's the other tear. All right, so we'll cut that off of the roll. It's kind of like a fancy tissue paper, frankly. It's a collage paper. I've got all the supplies linked in the description below. But we're going to get the ink off of the pad and put the stamp back into its package. I keep them in their packages so that I know where they are. And I don't have to try to remember what names go with what, because there is no way I'll remember that. So here is our little tiny junk journal. And you see the piece we made the other day. And now we're going to use a couple pages beyond that and use some matte gel medium to adhere the tissue paper that we just made to these pieces of junk mail that make up my junk journal. You want to make sure to put on a very thin, even layer of gel, and you want to use something to basically scrape out all of the air bubbles and make sure you don't get the corners like I just did. There's one side of the page, and then we're going to do the other page as well. So stamping onto the tissue paper gives me an instant background, which is really nice. It looks like I drew all of these cute people, but I did not. It's the quick and easy, the quick and dirty background creation method. So now we will trim off all the edges that hang over the page and cover up any extra little spots around the edges that need a little more adhesive. And then we're going to make sure it's very dry before we start doing anything else. You can see over on the right side, I still have some of the original paper showing through, and that's okay. Remember, our junk journal is not about perfection. Junk journals are about fun, play, exploration, seeing what works, what doesn't work. So I've decided to do a rainbow colored spread in honor of Pride Month, which is June. And I have pulled out a Dina Wakley color for each shade of the rainbow. And I've got those colors listed below too. I picked the Dina Wakley paints because they are a more heavy-bodied paint, but as you can see with this paper, the stamp still shows through. It kind of almost activates in a way. It's not really the right word, but it seeps into the tissue paper and brings out not only the design of the stamp, but it brings out a little bit of what was under that tissue paper, the junk mail. So you get this interesting layered effect. We're going in with some blues. And I figured I had another space for one more color, so we went ahead and added in all of our rainbow colors. A blue and an indigo and a purple. Right. Now I have a nice rainbow gradient from left to right. And again, we want to make sure everything's nice and dry. Okay, so what next? I hadn't really gotten beyond this point, so I just think, okay, I'll put the word pride in there. So I pulled out my Posca paint pens, and these are just your regular medium-sized bullet tips. Now I want to say, my hand lettering, I don't love it. I've never liked my handwriting or my lettering, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Again, we're having fun today. We are making something beautiful and creative and fun. And so I'm not going to sweat the fact that I'm not crazy about my hand lettering. And no, I am not fishing for compliments, y'all. Everybody's hand lettering is different. I admire some people's hand lettering, and other people's, I don't care for it as much. But again, everybody's hand lettering is their own, and I think that's what makes this particular piece very unique, as these are my letters. If somebody else makes this type of journal spread, they will use their hand lettering, and it will be just as amazing. So again, I'm going to dry all of the black, and then I'm going to go back in with the white Posca and do some highlights on the side, just to make it pop a little bit, give it a little bit of dimension. All right, there's my letters. Since I'm not crazy about my hand lettering, I decide I'm going to go get some numbers to use for the year. And I reach for some Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous numbers. And I love them because they're very old school looking and intentionally grungy. And I'm going to use some embossing ink here to stamp out 2023. It's easy. You just swap the 0 for a 3 and you've got your year. Granted, it took me a second to figure out where I was stamping. Usually if you hold it up to the light, you can see where the embossing ink went. And I'm putting a silver tinsel embossing powder on top. And here's where I noticed that my 2 and 0 did not stamp as well as I had thought they did. So they're not as full as I want them to be, but that's okay. Again, we're having fun, guys. Is this the perfect junk journal spread? No, but that's okay. What matters is that making this made me feel good. So now I'm going to use my heat tool to heat the powder and make it do its beautiful melty thing. And you can see it kind of coming together there. And I end up with a beautiful, shiny, embossed 2023. Yay! There was a fold in that side of the page. And I just want to make sure that the fold doesn't necessarily get too lost. And I figure since I'm here, I'm just going to go ahead and gesso the next 2 pages, because why not? And that way they're ready to go when I'm ready to work on them sometime in the future. The page gets a little curly from all of the moisture. It has glue on it. It has the gesso, but it will be okay in the end. But yeah, we want to make sure that's nice and dry. I'm going to use my scraper tool to kind of help me hold it down a little bit. There we go. All right. Now, I'm looking at this page again, and I'm like, whoops, I got a little bit of gesso on this side of the page, which, again, not ideal, but I run with it. And I say, you know what? We're just going to add some more gesso. You could do this with white paint just as easily. But this is nice. I'm going to just go in with my finger and add some white gesso on top of the stencil layer, the stamp layer, and just kind of grunge it up a little bit. Go around the edges, kind of go in between some of the faces, and basically just add some more visual interest, our favorite thing. The nice thing about using your finger is you can control exactly where it's going, and you get a nice smudgy look. And we clean that up really easily off of our glass media mat. And now I'm going to go clean up some of the letters because I got some on them. Okay, fold still works, great. I'm going to make sure everything is dry. And now I'm going to use my Stabilo Marksol pencil in black to kind of go around the edges of the 2023 to kind of make it pop a little bit. And we'll activate that with some water. Remember that you want to use a paper towel to get any water off the side of your brush, because sometimes a drop of water can stay on there and then, go down the rest of the brush and splooge all over your number or letter or whatever it is you're outlining. Wow, did I just say splooge? I'm so sorry. Sploosh? Smudge? Anyway. I'm going to go around all 4 numbers with the pencil and repeat using just a little bit of water on a very thin brush. This is, I think, the smallest brush, size 0, I believe. And you're just delicately activating that color. And when it dries, it will not be so intense. Going back with the black Posca paint pen to give some nice marks here and there, little X's and little squiggles. Just having fun, y'all. Just doing what feels right. We're going to go ahead and make sure all of that is dry. Here's our date stamp. Put the date on the bottom and sign it, and we're done. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, watching me make this pride spread in the journal. I really appreciate you.